Hopefully you have already done this answer sheet and you can check these, um, and I'll go through them. Um, Going through these, sometimes it helps to actually name the compound first, because the way that you name it um, often lets you know that it's an acid, base, or a salt. For example, this first one is sodium nitrate, and hopefully you can see the nitrate ion here. This is a salt. It doesn't start with hydrogen, it doesn't end with OH. What you have is a positive and a negative ion. The next one is ammonium phosphate, and this is also a salt. Again, it doesn't start with hydrogen or end with hydroxide, and it is not a simple oxide. KOH, you see the OH here. This is potassium, and sorry for the misspelling, hydroxide. This is a base, and it's that OH that makes it a base, a metal hydroxide. Here we see a compound starting with hydrogen. This is an acid, and this is actually sulfurous acid. Again, acids have a different naming system. MgO, we have got a simple oxide. Oops, I want to put the oxide here. And this is magnesium oxide. Notice if it's an oxide, you will see oxide in the name. Metal oxide. This is aluminum cyanide. And this would be a salt. Here we have a compound ending in COOH, and this is an acid, this is an organic acid, and this is propanonic acid. And I hope I spelled it right. Here we have ammonium nitrate. Again, this is a salt. Here we see that OH group. This is barium hydroxide. And this would be a base. Next we see another oxide. And this is sulfur dioxide. And because it starts with a non-metal, I am using a prefix in the naming. And now we have sodium dihydrogen phosphate. And dihydrogen phosphate is the name of that polyatomic ion. This is a salt. Now actually it's an acid salt, because these hydrogens in here can act like acids, but it is a salt. The compound does not start with hydrogen. And last but not least, we have a compound starting with hydrogen, which is an acid, and this happens to be hydrofluoric acid. And notice I did not have lines for you to name the acids because we haven't gone over acid naming yet. And the other exercise has to do with some boxes and classifying some things. And this is from one of my CDs that I thought I'd give you benefit of playing around with. Here we're looking for metal oxide. So we're looking for a metal and oxygen. So when I go down through, here's a metal and oxygen. So Na2O is one of those. So I've used that one up. And then here's another metal with oxygen, K2O. And I need to find another metal with oxygen, and it's MgO. This would be sodium oxide, potassium oxide, magnesium oxide. For the nonmetal oxides, again, I'm looking for a binary compound. I'm looking for a nonmetal oxygen. Again, binary compound. I've got CO2. And I have SO2 and I have P2O5. Now just a note, the naming for these, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and diphosphorus pentoxide, using prefixes. Acids, I'm looking for things that start with hydrogen, so here's one, HNO3, and then H2SO4 right below it. And we should find one other one, and here the other one is with the COOH, CH3COOH. Bases should end with simply OH, so we have KOH, MgOH2, and we need to find one more, AlOH3. Now if we have all these right, the rest of them should be salts, and they start with the calcium phosphate and the magnesium sulfate, and last but not least, the simplest one, the KCl. So hopefully you were able to do those and they were all right when you checked them out. Again, the way to classify things, look for either of these, start or finish with an acid. Look for the hydroxide for the base. Look for a binary compound, usually 2 elements. And if it starts with a metal, you will use prefixes.